G'day, it's JThomas1310. Thanks for joining me. This out motovlogging on the Yamaha R3. Going to be actually touching on a little bit of what I've previously mentioned in the last motovlog, just about how the end of privacy. I have a few good messages come through and comments, and done a little bit more research, and plus things I'd already been looking at as well. Sort of more touching on the position of Google in most of privacy. So at the start of Google, Google's quite a good product, just search engine. There was no bias or anything like that. There was no infringing of privacies, and it wasn't until they started getting quite huge and just so global that they started delving into other things and realizing just how much data that they actually have their hands to, and it's a massive industry. It's so much money in it. So your data of what you do, what you like, what shit you buy, all that stuff can be on-sold. And then especially now with all locational data, they track movements of people going from towns and shops, and it's just all, even while you're in a shop, your actual store cards that you can get, all your VIP things and club cards usually have RFIDs in them, and they can actually track you through the shop, see where you're actually spending time, what you're looking at, and what then you actually end up purchasing. So that data is not only just suitable for themselves, but also then to be on-sold. So read the terms and conditions when you sign up for any of that crap. It's not always probably worth doing when you don't even get rewards at some of the things anyway. There's no point in actually having the bloody cards. So those ones most likely are the fishy ones. But that's what Google's doing. So you use an Android phone, you have a smart TV it's got the Android interface in it. They're listening to you, collecting your locational data, and sending it through. You can actually opt out for a lot of those things. There was a comment mentioned on my privacy video about how you can actually look at an audio files of your own voice that Google's stored. So I actually have gone in and checked out my settings. I didn't have any that I could actually access. I've gone in and actually turned off a lot of those things, and also locational data. It had all the things from my YouTube channels and videos I've watched, and how they were doing recommendations and add categories and things like that there, and search items. That was all there for view. I'm not sure how easy you could get it from public access if people look at that stuff. But I didn't have the audio files. But this is the stuff that you have to opt in and out of for collection. They're already collecting the stuff. There's other things in the terms and conditions where they collect that because things actually anonymously and for improving their services, they call it, but basically it's just on selling that information. But there is mass amounts of data of everyone that Google is keeping on everyone, and most of it just from the things that are there and available for you to actually access. Imagine what's there for the stuff that they're hiding from us. They'd be recording every phone call. I mean, so many app permissions on, it's not just Google, it's also your iPhone as well. There's just so much that they're spying on you. So, I'm probably going to be heavily penalised for even doing a video like this. I've had a few different little arguments with Google and over YouTube, ever since they took over. They got their own political agenda and bias. They got caught out rigging search terms and things in the last presidential election, to let Hillary Clinton actually show up more so and have bad things show up on Trump. So they got their own positions and everything, and ideas of how they want the world to go, and especially more so that all this stuff happened once it was all done through a Bilderberg meeting. So if you don't know about Bilderberg, look it up. It's a meeting that happens every year. Originally at the Bilderberg Hotel is where it all started, and it's all the heads of the media, it's heads of the major corporations, political people go there. A lot deny it, but they get seen there. It's huge. So there's a complete media blackout for it. So they're all staging things, and usually when they leak an agenda out of what was being discussed, next thing you see, terms and conditions are changing for your services with Google. It happened with the first time Mark Zuckerberg went there a few years back. he ended up going there, and the agenda for it was actually a collection of all this and how they want to remove internet anonymity. So it's all of a sudden Zuckerberg's been invited, you know, because he's a big player and he's always quite good about avoiding those things. You know, he seemed a strange fellow and had an agenda to himself, but I think he did have the right idea about things. But gets invited to that. Next thing, there's a Facebook update, and it's all about that crap. Them collecting all your data and recording on mic and using your camera. Even in pictures of Zuckerberg, when he's got his Facebook and all that sort of shit up on his laptop, there's a little piece of black tape you can always see that's actually strapped across his webcam on his laptop. So yeah, he's he's very cluey for it. But yes, the apps, the new update, and you had to use, to be able to use Facebook, you had to get it and allow it. I didn't do it. I think a lot of other people did. There was a bit of uproar. Basically, another update came. You didn't have to do those permissions anymore, but you couldn't use Facebook Messenger. So you had to download the Messenger app, which gave you all those, you had to give all those permissions. So it was another way around doing it. So I don't do that. I don't have Messenger. It's a big terrible thing. So I'm not keen on wanting to, you know, have those permissions and whatnot. There's plenty of other secure apps and even phones that you can get and whatnot. But you know, there's a huge agenda, which, you know, all these things get oops, fucking geez. They all get talking about, you know, the agendas that they want through the United Nations. You know, it's Agenda 2030, Agenda 21. It's all been ones there. Actually, my bike just feels like the clutch is just a little bit loose. She does weird things this morning. She's going to have to go for a little check, I think. But yes, for what I was discussing is the things that they're looking to do is the World Bank is also, you know, it gets discussed at the World Economic Forum just recently again, you know, talking about AI and all the controls and all these things that they're doing with privacy and whatnot. So it's, you know, quite scary what's coming up. So, you know, former executive of Google is created his own religion, which they're going to worship their god being an artificial intelligence. He's developing one now, and it's going to basically be like one of the ones you see in all the movies where they got a big bloke, you know, big face or whatever, and it's the computer hub, and it oversees the entire world and makes decisions and laws and all these sorts of things. You know, Minority Report had one where it was a bunch of psychics, you know, could see things and whatnot. You stop, bloke. But you know, that's basically what he's creating. So, you know, it's coming in a strange world. Other thing is that what's being discussed with the United Nations at the moment, or it's happened, it was being discussed, I saw a while ago, in India. So they all get a national ID. So what they want is for the world is everyone to have a digital ID. So the doctor will input any birth, you have a digital ID, and you are known in the world for your world ID, and you can't access the internet, can't do any other services unless you actually have access to this ID. And that's, you know, like when you go and buy smokes, alcohol, you know, you get to prove your age, show your driver's license and whatnot. You won't be able to do any transactions, any business, do anything without the ID, essentially. So this will remove the being anonymous on the internet. So they use it for all the bullying and other things, you know, to try and get public opinion to go with it. But that's the scary thing, you know. It's you know, got a higher agenda. You can see it, you know. That's, yeah, they use scare tactics to get everyone to think about it and want to bring it on. But however, they have been trial running this in India. Everyone in India has been given this ID, have got a card, and it's been linked to biometrics. So it's got face recognition, fingerprint. I did read something about they're going to do DNA as well. So, and then they're doing the vein scanning in your fingers. You know, it's so much. You know, you can't do anything, and then it'll be you cannot go to a shop and do anything. Yeah, and it's all for benefit of, you know, removing anonymity, so you can't bully people on the internet. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's not that large of a problem in sense of things, and you can deal with it in a much better way than having everyone register for this stupid ID. You know, it's all, you can see it's leading to a new world order, which is being, you know, it's spoken of so much in in the past. You know, Bush was the, Bush Senior was the first one to have actually discussed it, you know, and brought it to attention, and I think it was at a United Nations meeting. You know, it's happening. Police state, you know, it's quite scary, and you know, everyone always says, you know, I don't do anything wrong, so you know, if they're watching me, I'm going to be fine. It's like, yeah, that's okay if there's no ill intent. So if you look at your current governments or you know, the government that implements it, yeah, they might be fine and no ill intent, but as soon as they're taken over and it's changed and you get a tyrannical government in there that's going to change the idea of things and just ruin it. You know, look, it happened to Germany. You know, the Nazis, that's the shit. But yeah, history is repeating itself, so be aware. You know, don't give up your internet freedoms. You know, you could be dealt with more effective. You know, there's lots of stuff at the moment about the shootings and everything, and you know, in Australia, every time there's a shooting, there's fucking uproar about how we're currently, you know, need to fine-tune our gun laws as well. And it's like, why? There's no issues. So I'm not going to get into that. You know, I am a shooter. There's another agenda there. It's just all about fear tactics, and the only people with, you know, that they really class as a terrorist is good-willed citizens and law-abiding people that have the potential to be able to stop a government if they were to become tyrannical. That's it. That's how you see it. But you know, Google's spearheading all this stuff. They're leading the world in wanting to do all this crap. So it's you know, they're getting into this robotics as well. You know, they got DARPA. You know, they got all the robotics contracts. They're building weaponized robots and whatnot. So you know, Terminator. You know, the movie may be foretelling something. You know, it can quite possibly happen. As soon as we release that first AI, it's gonna change the world very quickly. It's just gonna develop exponentially, and we might be able to stop it. And if it goes bad, we won't be able to stop it. So you know, Elon Musk is he's one of the most brilliant minds in the world, and he's against it. So fucking listen to him, really. Jeez. So it's not a bad thing. Don't dabble in it. But anyway, let me know what you think anyway, and leave some comments, send me some messages again. It's great reading this stuff, you know, seeing what other people's thoughts are on the subject. So guys, if you're right out there, stay safe and be sure to keep the rubber side down.